Hey, what is up guys and girls, my name is Griefdrums, and today we're going to be taking a look at whether the LMGs in Rainbow Six Siege are now more viable. So as you will no doubt be aware, the recent patch notes that were released show that there is a damage increase to the LMGs. Now luckily enough, I did get to test these on the TTS, and judging by the official patch notes that have now been released for what is going to be going onto the live server, we can see that the LMGs are in fact getting that damage increase. Now, throughout the entire TTS, I was using them. Whenever I was on attack, I was using Zafir, Capital. I tried Fuse a couple of times, but he doesn't really fit my playstyle 9 times out of 10. He's someone that I want to get to use a little bit more. But for the time being, I was sticking with mainly Zofia, Ying and Capital. And it is in fact true, they definitely do more damage. These things are pretty hard hitting now. But are they more viable? I don't really think so. I mean, they're not bad. They're just a little bit too slow to aim down sights. They really are. It's really sluggish. And you'll find that as you go around a corner, you can't sort of scout the room out and then bring the LMG up and start aiming down sight roughly where someone is. Because normally you do that. You go into a room without aiming down sights, you spot where the enemies are, then you readjust and start aiming down sights as you go towards their head. Almost like a bit of a quick scope. But that is certainly a tactic that I find myself using very, very often, and I see used by a lot of people. So the problem that they can't aim down sights very quickly is a real issue for me, and it certainly presents its own unique set of problems. So that would immediately lead me to think, well, you know, why don't they just increase the ADS time, or decrease the ADS time and speed it up, if that makes any sense, so that you can be looking down sights a lot quicker. Well, the problem with that is that there would be no downsides to LMGs if you did that. I mean, why would you take any other rifle when you could have a really hard-hitting rifle with a 200 box round magazine, for example? Especially if the ADS time is quick. The reload time is going to be slow for obvious reasons, but let's face facts. Realistically, you're only going to reload this thing once, maybe twice at a push in the entire round.
Why am I reloading? I've got 103 rounds left in this magazine.
So as I say, yes, they're a little bit more viable, but not a massive amount. So what about this? What if we propose something? Just a couple of ideas. What if they kicked like a mule? What if the recoil was increased and the ADS time was decreased? So you can look down the sight quicker, but when you start shooting, this thing really has some recoil behind it. Pretty much like they are in real life. I've been lucky enough to fire GPMGs, general purpose machine guns, minimes, stuff like that, and they do really kick. You can sort of tap fire or burst fire while you're standing, but realistically there's no way you're going to hold down that trigger because it's so difficult to control. And even if you did it for an extended period of time, your arms are going to kill, they really are. So what about the alternative then? You know, if these have a massive amount of recoil and you can only tap fire or burst fire while you're standing and moving around, what if when you go prone, they're a lot more controllable? Again, this is very similar to real life. If you're shooting one of these for an extended period of time, yes, you would still burst fire in real life, but I mean, it's a lot more controllable on the ground when you're actually prone. With that, then comes the idea for potential new attachments in game, like a bipod. We've seen that in other games before, like Battlefield. You get down, you deploy the bipod, the weapon is a lot more controllable and has a lot less recoil. That in itself presents its own set of problems, because this is Siege after all, so you've therefore got the peeker's advantage. If you're lying prone with a bipod, you have a more controllable weapon, but you lose the peeker's advantage. You essentially become Tachanka, which isn't exactly ideal, so there needs to be sort of a halfway middle ground, if that makes any sense. But why not try something new? Why not have it so it's got a really quick setup time? The bipod is already down. In fact, the foregrips that you get nowadays very often have a bipod that sticks out the bottom of them. So you could have it on a vertical foregrip. Now this is something I'd really like to see in game. You know, if you go up behind a desk or something, as soon as you aim down sight, he automatically places that vertical foregrip with the little bipod on the desk so you can start spraying. Your movement is then limited, but you can still lean left and right. I'm just trying to brainstorm some ideas here because at the minute, in their current state, they are viable to a degree. You can get kills with them, but it's a lot of hard work. It really is. You have to really sort of hold back a little bit on the pushes that you want to try and do, and if it comes down to those 1v4 like clutch situations. I don't understand why you would want to find yourself in a situation with a large box magazine if you can't actually land those rounds on target. But at the same time, you know, that shouldn't really be your role. If you want to promote teamwork within this game, you need to have operators who are actually support operators and, you know, operators that are breaching operators and stuff like that, you know. Sledge, Blitz, Buck, they need to be at the front of any push. People like Capital, who is a fantastic player if he's hanging just behind those people and protecting diffusers with his, you know, arrows. His role is not to be the first one into the room. And I think it's the same with Zofia. Now, a lot of people would argue this with me. She is very, very good at being a solo operator, at pushing into rooms on her own. But I think she is better placed if she's working with other people. If she holds back just a little bit and then opens up walls from a distance for people that are a lot closer, they can just push into that room as quickly as possible. If you've got an Ashe on your team and you're a Zofia, you hang back, you blow open that wall, you put a couple of the stun or flash rounds in there, and Ashe can push in with you going in a close second or third behind to clear that room. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and I'm not saying that Zofia can't do it on her own. She can. I've done it myself, where you breach open a wall and you essentially play her like Ashe, but you can't do that with the LMGs. It is really nice that the devs are trying to shake the meta up and move people away from using the same old stuff, but whether we'll be seeing this in higher ranked games or the Pro League, I really don't think we will be seeing that many LMGs. I'd love to hear your thoughts though. I mean, have you got any brilliant ideas that you think would fix the LMGs or, you know, make them a better choice than their AR counterparts? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you don't already, make sure to follow me on Twitter to stay current with everything that I'm up to. I'm always on Twitter, posting what's going on, posting stupid pictures. And if you don't already, make sure to subscribe for all things Rainbow Six. But until next time, guys, stay reckless and relentless.